Alright, picking up where we left off. This tutorial will be centered around getting involved with user parameters inside of S1 Trader. So previously we noticed that when we zoomed in on the y-axis, running in optimize mode, we get some stretching along the y-axis for our SMA indicator. How do we fix that? Well, we can fix that by going into our indicator code and just introducing some new parameters. So one of the parameters we want to introduce is pixel line. And this will be toggleable, so we're going to make it a type boolean. And there's about 4 major types. There's number, boolean, select, and color. And we're going to make the default true. And the next thing we want to do, say we want to change the color of our indicator, we're going to specify a line color and just call it a type color, and we're going to give it a default value of white. Now this also takes in hexadecimal, so you can do stuff like FF up to 8 characters, because we also have an alpha channel that we can specify. And then the next variable we're going to add is a unit, and our unit is going to be a type select, and this just gives us the option to specify many optional values. So if you want to lock into certain values, and so we want to do for high, open, low, close, and basically this will allow our user to select any of these to be the inputs for our SMA, and we're going to give this a default value of close. Alright, and then if we specify one more field, stroke width, this is going to be a type number. This will just be a default value of 1 with a min value of no min value. Well, we'll give it a min value of 1 and a max value of like 100 or 1,000 or something. And we'll use stroke width to determine if our pixel line is actually working. So how does this work? Starting off with our price variable, we want to just change that to be our unit variable. So we want to call d of this dot props dot unit, and we're going to call that function, and that'll update our price. And now we want to change our line segment to be 1 pixel thin or thick, no matter how much we scroll in or scroll out, and we specify that with pixel line. And this is going to be from our properties, or our param, should I say. Next thing, we want to specify our stroke width. When pixel line is false, our stroke width will kick in when our we're not running in optimize mode. So we'll have stroke width, we'll do this props stroke width, and then stroke color will be this props line color. I changed the name down there, so make sure you catch that. And this should be all we need to have for our very user interactive indicator. So if I hit refresh script, we're actually going to get an error. Oh, no error. Spoke too soon. But if we check into our default indicator here, we'll see that we have our unit close, our period, and our stroke width. If we turn off use pixel and increment our period, well, not period, the stroke width, we'll see that we have this really thick line. But if we go back into our indicator and specify use pixel, this also only works if you are using the normal mode. So we'll just cut that off for now. I'm also not sure if this is Okay, hello. Alright, now that we're back in our chart, if we hit refresh, you should, if you have not removed and removed, you'll see an error pop up down here. That's because we have some stuff that are not initialized in here, such as our unit or our line color or stroke width. Now to talk about how this works exactly, we see that we have stroke width of 1. If we cut this up and we set to stay at optimize and we're using pixel line, we shouldn't see the size of our line change at all. However, if we go and toggle off optimize back to normal, and then we specify pixel line to be false, we'll see that our line segments are now very thick. Now if we go into our line and we toggle back on pixel line, cut this back on optimized, and change our period to the lowest possible 1, we'll see that we are hitting the tops and bottoms of the side without the tail on it. So if you know how range bars work, the side without the tail is the part that created the new open for the next bar. So this is in fact the close. And if we change this to be open, we should see the other side with the tail. So we know that that variable works. And then finally our color, say we want to change it to blue. We now have a blue line. We're going to cut the variable for our period back up to very much. Alright, and that's the introduction for parameters.